if possible?
No, it is. Raise it.
Yeah,
Raise
man,
it.
yeah.
Give me
Anything that we hear about in the
almost, I
office.
saw the wife's
that's
hand in the
your
schedule,
role, we should
but
put on,
or she was
you know, to
wiping.
identify with these guys, and say, okay, you
Doing.
know, do we fall short? Are we ahead of the game? What should we expect? How do we do it? But I'm right, yeah.
Lose on
Okay.
his third try.
Pardon you again, so
Well,
should
it was
be
on
like
the
We're on.
from a constituent that, why don't we have this type of dog or cat ordinance?
Oh, okay.
Oh, my mic's not
sorry.
on. Oh, that mic's on.
Oh, yeah.
I don't say it.
Hopefully, done by Saturday.
Pardon?
Hopefully it's done by Saturday.
I just won't call you.
Top
Did they give you that rotten chair?
Right?
What type of flooring do you
Oh.
have?
I'll just steal Colts.
There you go.
It does look like you're putting like the naughty chair.
You know.
Should I turn this back?
Yeah.
Mrs.
That's just
Christina Krantz, how are you doing? I didn't realize that I see it had that's what the whole.
That was Rick here. He does.
Conflict. Kind of. Bill, trading hats.
I've never seen it in that way. There's no way it's that happened.
Who does that?
Yeah, I just realized I have GIC hat on, and that's the whole Sarah Nova development thing, and I have that hat. The conflict.
No.
If it was like a. Bad saying.
I take my hat off.
Nothing but a possum last night.
I don't have a pretty.
No.
Good looking possum though. I doubt big you're gonna see him, but
I've seen them running around quite a bit. Have you seen the turkeys?
I had a tree above me there night, the windy night, 2 weeks ago.
I was there, I was out there that
I
night.
saw you disappeared.
I did.
I walked past my car and I sat there waiting for you to come back and you didn't. So I left and you were nowhere.
I walked over to Park Lake RV.
Oh, I thought you were just the ghost of off.
We got water eyes and,
Yeah, it was an
Didn't have a
interesting
ride.
year. Right. I like the fact that you think I mellow out, Jim.
Okay, so let's get started. We'll call you to order 501. Clint, you wanna
Yep, I'm on it.
roll call?
Austin Boudreau,
Present.
Aaron DeForest,
Here.
Jake Bryant, Christina Kress,
Here.
Jim Slaybaugh,
Yes.
Jeff Rhodes.
Yes.
You have a quorum, Mr. Chairman.
Good deal, good deal. Okay, do we want to, so, again, Tara, thank you very much. We got the October minutes. Were sent out. Did everybody have a chance to review? If so, I'll entertain a motion. Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, motion to approve and seconded, Austin and Christina. Any discussion on the minutes? Again, I know they're hard to follow, so I think it's great that we got them out quickly. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Minutes are approved. We didn't go through the preamble and everything in the agenda just because we don't have a.
There's no
Not
problem.
not just-
You don't-
not saying
you're not
we don't
going to
have
have-
it. And there are those, there, I know.
I can do it. I got it.
There's hundreds of people.
Your phone on
watching.
vibrate.
Yeah.
There's hundreds of people watching online right now, I can tell. But if people are okay, we can skip the general information and, kind of go through the preamble slides if you'd like. And we can go right into, well, Clint, you tell me if there's anything else you want to cover there before we go into the rest of the agenda.
I'd say go for it. There's nothing I've got.
Okay, good. So we'll move this right along. So we'll start off with the reports of officers, so the chairman's report. We're gonna talk more about it and everybody's got an HPG update that was just sent out. We didn't really integrate it into any of our regular work tonight, so I'm just gonna report. So last month, Austin, Karen, and myself, Clinton, Charlie, met with, a couple of authorities from a water perspective. I don't want to get into, names and things like that, because this is a kind of a heated conversation, at times. But it was, so the St. Joe River Authority, they wanted to have a meeting with
It
us.
was the mommy.
Mommy.
Oh,
Totally different group, trust me.
I'm
Yes.
sorry. Okay, my correction, Mommy River Basin Group, you're right.
Yes.
We talked about- But they wanted to come in and help us with the issues we were dealing with between ourselves, the DNR, IDEM, our CAT, the team having to look at violations that were violations. They wanted us to update our stormwater ordinance to meet, what they thought the standard should be. We met as a group, we have for 2 years, and we, saw that, we're kind of ahead of the game in a lot of this stuff. And felt pretty confident that, we could operate and, we could make recommendations, but not committing, future boards to doing something that would get them in trouble for, if we were, as the example, to reject or not utilize the federal disaster recovery insurance or flood insurance, but, allow people to do it independently. Again, based on, the market and what they needed and things like that. We, and that's where, so Austin, is playing a very important part, just not in helping us understand what that means, but then we as a group and, and working with legislators and policymakers that, we could opt out of that program and we wouldn't commit anybody from not being able to opt back into it at a future date. That was our main concern. Right now, we don't feel that we need it, require it, or that we benefit from having it. So, but from a personal, property standpoint, if people want it, they can do it. There's a market for those types of things. We were basically told in this meeting last month that we were wrong, that no, that's not correct. And, we said, well, we've heard from these people, but yes, we haven't heard from the DNR because they never call us back, or they don't follow up with their meetings, or they just simply want us to follow the rule and not answer our questions, okay? And again, we outlined that to this group, that the communication is horrible. So they took it upon themselves that they were gonna follow up with that process and ask some pointed questions as to why aren't you guys answering their messages? And I didn't see much of an answer to that in the notes, but the one big thing was that they admitted that, the information that Austin had been, supplying the rest of the group along with what Senator Sue Glick was saying was absolutely correct. That, we can opt out of it and there is a process to opt back into it. So again, future boards can do that if they choose. So my summation for the meeting and all of that is that, great work from the people that have been doing this, Karen and Austin, and you guys as well. But it leads us now at the next point where, we can make a recommendation, right, to the commissioners and even the council too, I suppose, that we can opt out of this, right? Until we get a better answer, that would be our recommendation. Do you agree, Austin?
I like Sue Glick's suggestion still at this point. I mean, just continue to write it out. I mean, I don't think we have to make a decision at this point. I mean, are they leaning on us yet, or not to say you're doing it or you're not doing it, or?
Two things. One, no, because we actually did submit, Charlie has proof on September 23rd, that copy that this board told us to go ahead and submit. So technically the ball's in their court. If they want to lean on us, we submitted it to them. Now, if the feds are shut down, they're not going to get back to us anytime soon, but I'd say they got nothing to stand on. Some of the other stuff in that report that you read, like the multi-hazard mitigation plan, might screw that up. I had a meeting with Lee Greenemeyer, what's his EPA?
EMA.
EMA. Yeah, it's changed a couple times, I'm sorry. So it's EMA now. And he said they've already got the grant to work on that. They're gonna start the process in December, which I've been involved with historically, so I know what this plan is. I'll be part of that as well. He said probably not gonna get rolling until February and then 12 months after that. So if it were to cause a trouble at that level, which Rod said it might, we have 17 months. So again, to write it out, to find out.
I don't think we should make any moves at this point. I mean, we do have options.
Yeah.
And I don't see any point.
I mean, if they come back and approve what Brandon wrote for us,
Right.
then we're kind of carved out. And we don't get no money, but we don't have to do this, this, and this.
Okay, so, so let me finish my report, and I guess that's it. So you guys, great contributions to that discussion. I think, we're in a great spot. Should we add an agenda item to actually make that recommendation? That we let the cab, kind of just stay where it is. We're not gonna update those ordinances.
Well, we've already started updating the one. It's just stuck in the.
Oh, yeah,
we don't know how long
yeah.
that's gonna take.
Well, and again, good point. I mean, but that's like the minimum that, again, that we feel comfortable doing. It's not, putting us at, any, again, we're not having to adopt, permitting rules, for docks as an example.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
That's where we want to, we
that's-
want to stop short of that.
Right, and, which is another good point, the guy from Kosciuszko County, and again, not mentioning names, but he was saying how important it was to pass an ordinance like this. We're like, oh, well, what's yours like? And they're like, well, we don't have one yet.
They got the old one, like probably older than ours for all I know. That's what I said. Well, why are they, I know Hamilton doesn't have theirs. There's a rumor going around the state where we're the last holdout. No, we're the ones they leaned on. We asked questions and now we're in trouble. because
Everybody
we
we've
had-
asked.
Yeah, everybody we've asked, they haven't
The
updated
lake
theirs either.
communities that we've contacted don't have one, and updated.
Right.
So I'll let the board decide if we want to add that as an agenda item and pass some type of, agreement to that, or just let it go. And then
I think we should just sit back
Okay.
and wait until they really start pressuring us, and then we should go.
Then even then Brandon Almus, the attorney for the update, he says one of those things where they do put pressure on you, let me know. I'll talk to him and say, hey, this is what we're doing X, Y, and Z. And maybe with updating the ordinance and all the other stuff, he could get us some time as well if we need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean-
We can show that we've been doing work.
And we've been meeting with them, so it's not like we rejected meeting with them or anything like that. We've made our efforts, they just haven't been doing much on their side.
And we've been continuing to fully enforce the floodplain ordinance, which outside the docks and seawalls and beaches, everything else that we've always done, keeping stuff out of the floodplain, floodproofing, venting, all, we've still done that. I would say when I was here before, while I was gone and now that I'm back, it seems like that's been priority number one. Because when they came for that cab, they wanted years worth of information and we just like, here it is, everybody's been doing it. So I was happy about that at least, so.
No, I mean, great, covering your behind, so that's good. Okay, but that's my report at this point. There's a series of emails that we were, having going back and forth. And if anybody wants copies, they're more than welcome. I mean, it's a little hard to read, where the inserts were and who said what, those types of things. But once you get through the flow, you understand it's like, okay, great work, everybody. Steuben County is really where we need to be at this point.
I would say it's a lot of it's you guys. I mean, I usually, honestly, it's just Charlie and me to meeting with these people. And I've been doing this long enough and I'm not afraid of them at all because I know they're idiots. But no, that was a joke.
I know.
I'm sorry.
That's why I didn't want to mention names.
But you can tell even by the looks on these people's faces, whether it be Rod, whether it be Doug, or whoever, when I'm sitting there with 4 of my board members, and that's the most we can have because 5 would be a meeting, they're absolutely shocked. And I quite honestly never really experienced a lot of this in my life where I've gotten this kind of backing and this kind of, well, you guys are kind of leading the charge. It's not even backing. And you're well versed in this stuff. And you can tell by the looks on their face that they've come up against an opponent they've not likely seen before. Usually it's just a guy like me sitting in a room, and if they don't get what they want, they just run to the commissioners and complain. Well, it's harder to do that when you've got eyes and ears and emails and we're, so I thank you. You're doing great. And I appreciate all the effort you put in on your end.
No, and I do. I appreciate you. I mean, you guys serve this board.
We just want to make sure that we're not asked of anything else that other
And
counties haven't.
that's what so Clint responded to the commissioners on Monday, but that's what I wanted to say. It's like, we're not going to stand up for an edict from the state just because they say it. Let's challenge it if we can. Okay, anyway, so.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, so, so that's my report. Any other questions? Anything to add? We'll keep moving down the list. The liaison report.
I was not at the last meeting. I was out of town. I didn't see Jeff's not here, so nothing to report at this time.
Okay, any questions for Austin? Okay, we'll move on to drainage board.
Yeah, things are going smooth. We're continuing to have our hearings and do our due diligence to keep Steuben County drained in a proper way, a clean way. Just waiting for the farmers to move along and not too much,
They're getting to it early this year.
they are.
You're gonna be out in the fields earlier than
So
normal.
that obviously, there's once the crops are off, it exposes the damaged tiles and stuff like that, so. But other than that, we've been moving along. Last month, I reported that we were going through Lake James Golf Course. We got that taken care of now, planted back, a little bit more work to do. Golf course is happy. Again, that will definitely help out with the drainage that comes from the city, along with the new development, along with the several new developments that are going up in that area, going towards Lake James, so. So, yeah, things are well.
Good job. From a kind of a side note, I belong to a group that Bill helps coordinate. We meet, 6 weeks during the fall, each Tuesday, and we had our last meeting a couple weeks ago, and your deputy
Greg, yes.
Gave a presentation. And this is kind of a tough crowd. These people are very knowledgeable about water and water issues, and and Greg did. He talked about some of the same things,
Yeah.
exactly where you guys are, from a project perspective, and what it means, to be, working these projects, because the water here is important. He talked, he got into some of the aquifer stuff, and, drainage differences between, here, Michigan, and even Ohio. So very informative. And he impressed David Wolf, who's a friend of
Perfect.
mine, but David is he's an authority in this
And
area
he
too.
was the DeKalb County
For
surveyor.
16 years.
Yeah,
It's very
perfect.
important. So,
Good.
yeah, so he was very, impressed with the presentation and everything. So, and it fell right in line with your report. So thank you very
Perfect.
much. Okay,
Thank you for that.
any other questions for Jim and the Drainage Board? Okay, Plat Committee,
We've got two in the wings right now that are getting their sign-offs, and I'll probably get a hold of you within the next week or two. One of them, they've got a health department sign-off, so who knows how long that'll be. When I get that back, you'll find out.
does the health department, do they sit on those, or what?
No, they typically will require like a septic locate if they're gonna split off a chunk of property, or like soil test if they're planning on putting septic in.
Like, is this the one on Lake James?
This one actually is, I think, 400 north. So this is kind of out in the country, in the boonies,
Just,
old farmhouse.
I keep getting phone calls about,
We're on 400 North?
I think it's 400. It's Sharlock's the last name.
oh,
But I don't know. It's family of Dan Sharlock's. I don't know if you know Dan, but it's his
I
family.
know the name.
Yeah.
okay, good. But again, it's a great process. We're kicking right through those things when we get them. So people must be happy with the turnaround. So any questions about Plat Committee? Okay, BZA, anything?
We have one for a one-dimensional standard variance for a new accessory, for a second detached accessory, and then one land use variance for a retail shop. So that was on Lake James.
That's the
The
lavender. out there in
lavender
Kerr.
farm.
Yes. So Jamie tried.
I'm not sure how far they're planning to go with that, but what they talked to me about seemed pretty
It
cool.
looks cool as heck, but you're
Now
right.
that you could have weddings out there, like a wedding barn venue, you could have stuff.
Yeah, they built that gazebo up on the hill, so no, it's pretty as heck, but you're right, selling it on the road like that must have been
Dangerous.
touchy.
Yeah.
Right on that curve right there, yeah. Okay, yeah, a couple people have asked me about that as well, but I didn't know how to, I guess I hadn't approached it. Okay, so good. Any questions for the BCA? Okay, let's move on to unfinished business. Like I said, so at the last meeting, we decided to combine the ETJ with the interlocal agreement, because they are, absolutely dependent on each other. And we do, so we got an update. Charlie, you wanted, or Clint, you guys want to just kind of run through what is on the note here?
For interlocal.
Yeah. Do you feel that's appropriate? I mean, we've got the update from them, and we don't necessarily have an action at this point.
Yeah, basically, they want to continue with what I think Andy's conversations had started, but actually put it into like some actual form of an agreement, but I don't know where that stands currently. We haven't had Andy to talk about where kind of him and the mayor sit with that.
And we've been talking to Retha quite a bit. At least at this level, we're all in agreement. I mean, if they want me to write it, I'll write it. We gave them the big one. They didn't like that because I think it was too detailed, so they wanted something simpler.
But, yeah, okay,
It can come from them, it can come from me, as long as it all gets approved, but we're not at that point yet.
yeah, I mean, so last month, we talked about, the meeting, the fruitful meetings you've been having with Rita, that she's in agreement. We still thought we should put something down. So then and after that, we had met with, Ryan and it was, Brandon was there. Or it was, I forget if both of them were there. But
Brandon was
anyway,
there first,
we
actually.
talked about, wanting to, reapproach and say, let's get in an agreement, but outside of using Kim.
Hmm.
That's kind of where, I mean, in my notes, that's where we had left it.
We don't get that option on whether or not they.
No,
use
not
Kim.
really, no.
We don't get that option. That's their attorney.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being like,
Well,
well, I
just,
want to
just,
enter into an agreement with you, but I don't want you to use your attorney.
well, no,
How
it
would
was,
that
it
go,
was more,
John?
it'd be more to propose the draft and say, yeah, we like this, and then giving it to Kim so that it didn't go to him and say, no, don't do this. Because that's where we were again, a year ago.
No, I had a conversation with the mayor myself a year ago, who said it should be a page.
It can be, but I don't think I
It
agree that it should be.
It shouldn't be a
Yeah,
page.
I don't think I agree, but I could do that.
There are standard things that are in contracts
Right,
that
yeah, that's
are
exactly
longer than a page.
You make the font smaller.
wide margins. But anyway, so you're right. So we still want to push to get there, and you're right. We left it with, as long as it's working with Rita, we're good. And if Andy, can help us, we'll continue to do that. But at the same time, utilizing, the HPG folks to, at least, get something started so that we can say, we want something in writing.
I think Andy will get back on board. I think right now he's just too busy thinking history.
I know.
It'll be the first time they win sectional Friday night, if I want to jinx them, so.
Yeah, exactly. Not gonna win. No, well, again, yeah, we can
I'm
say.
gonna tell them it's your fault.
If they lose, it's my fault. I
It's on
wanted
the
to win, and I just said
I'm
it
not
now.
gonna do it.
We'll talk about that announcement, so I think that's exciting. Any questions about the interlocal agreement, ETJ? Have we seen, and I'm sorry, I asked myself, have we seen anything in the ETJ again that has come up? I mean, in Austin?
Not through our office.
Yeah, not through our office.
They've been handling it. I mean, they're doing what they said they were gonna do. We saw everything in writing, so very appreciative for Rita. Oh, yeah, for Rita for that, so.
Other than discussions of variances that are being requested for, I've not heard a single conversation in a Angle PC meeting about ETJ.
Okay.
I did miss the last one. I missed maybe one or two a year.
But and so there's still, well, okay, so Susan Ralston and there's somebody else that actually,
I believe they're both out. I believe they both resigned and didn't ask for reappointment. I think they're looking for 2 more ETJ members. The only reason I say that, I wasn't told that officially, but I was asked what section of the code covers it for Indiana Code from city. And they're like, we need 2, right? Like, yeah.
well, okay, so Susan, and she was serving as chairperson, wasn't she? She
Was, yeah. And Nick Sutton, is it Nick?
Yep.
He was the P, I believe.
But yeah, but wow.
It's not official. I wasn't told we're out, but I was told, yeah, we need 2. And I was like, yeah, that's what the code says.
I would like to recommend, if you know somebody that, is county savvy that's in the ETJ, I think that would be great.
We don't want to lose him.
Uh-huh.
We don't want to lose him.
Well, can he still serve, can he?
I don't know.
Well, again,
He's different
they've
employee
asked
board.
you to find out, so if there's anything.
No, they just asked me the code requirements, the regulations,
How
just because I
many?
know
They just
what.
keep
Oh,
it-
yeah,
Not
they didn't
the
ask me
who.
who, they asked me how many and what the rule is.
Well, and again, maybe we cover that offline, because
As far as I know, it's just 2 from anywhere in the ETJ right now. None of these special.
anywhere in the ETJ. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I mean, if we can make a recommendation, I wouldn't be opposed to that. Okay. Any other questions about ETJ interlocal agreement? Okay, there's also updates. We've combined the floodplain and the stormwater ordinance draft. As again, go ahead and give the update, because you had mentioned it really well, Charlie.
Yeah, with the floodplain, we kind of went over it with our update earlier. Right where we sit with it is we sent it to the state. We haven't heard anything back thus far. It was September 23rd, you said, where I got the email confirmation from the state. So we do even have it in writing that they did get it and forwarded over to their bosses. Like he said, with FEMA being out, who knows when we'll hear anything back, but that's kind of where we sit with it. And like we said, meeting with Lee went really well. He seemed pretty comfortable with our conversation about flood zone, it didn't seem like overly concerned, so.
And he's gonna try to hook us up with somebody he knows to possibly maybe review our stormwater technicals. We've been trying to find somebody to review those. He's looking into that for us.
That was the other point, which I'm surprised that's what we should have brought up with the commissioners.
Stormwater stuff.
But just, yeah, that we're gonna have to have somebody, review that,
Mm.
and then that could cost if if we don't have somebody that can do that,
I'm
right?
still trying to do the freebie.
Yeah, no, I think it's
And again,
great.
it was done by Christopher Burke.
And he's on contract already.
They're on the, yeah, exactly. So we may just,
So I would just like to point out, just for the general public, that if we help save the county a bunch of money, that's a good thing.
that's what we're trying to do. Councilwoman.
Very good.
And again, I'm willing to testify to that tonight at some point.
And Lee also recommended for the stormwater, maybe even talking, since we have worked with other entities and are having other sets of eyes look at it from their perspective. He said even the city with MS4 just send it over like Chris Thomas to see what her thoughts on it.
But she's the
She's great.
representative.
Yeah, no, I've worked with her a little bit. Yeah, she's always been great to work with.
Has she done ordinance review to stuff before, or not, the specifications, I guess, the math?
It's the technical stuff that we need help on. The ordinance stuff, we're probably.
But, okay, so, and again, so that's a good update, and I was just gonna mention, and Clint, for those that didn't know, Clint presented to the commissioners, because they kind of were asking for an update. But we don't know really what they wanted an update on.
Yeah, we're not- they seem happy with it.
On the mom meeting,
Yeah.
is
Well,
what they wanted. to
that's what we
update.
gave them, but they didn't ask for that.
Well, I think again, I was talking to, I think it was a bang play. I think Rick was like, hey, what's going on? And that email came like that day or the next day.
Yeah, it was.
So probably by the time I was up at the mic, they're like, our questions have been answered, so
Yeah, okay.
that's what I'm assuming happened.
So then we're just waiting for the response back from the state, and then that'll come back in front of this board. We will make our recommendation to the commissioners, and after that.
Assumption that somebody's complaining too, like.
I'm assuming they're gonna want changes or not. I can't imagine they're just gonna, stamp it. Who knows, maybe.
I mean, but it's clean, I mean, we're doing it the right way, right?
Oh, and it was written by an attorney, well, it's already formatted, it's already pre-written, and it's formatted the way we're gonna have your own info. So he redlined and changed the stuff that we did, right? Yeah, it is clean.
So we trust them because we pay them a lot of money, and we keep paying them a lot of money, right?
But sometimes others there's unintended consequences
know,
usually,
I know.
right?
I know.
Always. And so maybe they've seen something that is an unintended consequence, and that's why they want to talk about it.
No, which is perfect, and we raise some of those same questions when we've had, our offline meetings, it's like, wait a minute, what does this mean? Or
Yeah.
are we doing this the correct way?
Yeah, so many things are with best intentions.
Yeah.
You just don't see that unintended
No.
consequence.
And-
I'm stealing that from Representative Isa. It's like.
No,
And there's an app somewhere paving those things in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sort of.
No, so, but a very good point, you with your background, I think that's very important, to keep in mind. I just, because I don't want us to be committing ourselves to things that, pigeonhole future boards, 20 years from now, like, they did this to us. Okay, any questions about any of the updates, or does anybody feel that we need different or better or less information from these guys? Like, again, I enjoy the opportunity to work with them, and, Charlie and Clint kind of run it all, but they answer our questions, they respond quickly. Again, the summaries that we got are good. Okay, any questions about that? Okay, we'll move on to new business. Very excited about this. Clint, you want to start us off?
Charlie can do it. He's had the most content. I've been studying and testing the last few days, and he's had the conversation, so.
Well, basically, we brought it up last month, that email from Abby regarding the AFO ordinance. They had 2 comments. In the last meeting, we kind of wanted to clear up what those comments were about. One was, you guys have a copy of the new ordinance. One was in the email, it said section 4C. The item talking about the manure management plan, they wanted to see it being submitted to the building and planning department. So this is the only thing I've changed in the AFO ordinance whatsoever. And that is based on what they asked. This is how I have it worded currently. And then beyond that, the other issue that they had was definitions. Their concern was they didn't want the minimum requirement for an AFO for all animals being on one parcel. So they didn't want 299 cattle, 29,999 fowl, and 599 pigs, something like that, all on one 10-acre parcel. One thing they said could clean that up is in the definition, they have basically this many cows or this many things and or this many things. They said basically if you got rid of the and or and just made it or, it would specify that it's the one animal type and it should clean that up. But that's pretty much all I have. That was their concerns.
What in the office, what we've been talking about, I don't know if I'd even call it a concern, it's just the discussion of typically when you live out in the country and somebody has a farm, they have a farm. So let's say they have the 299 cows and it's an or, not an and or an either or. What about 10 pigs and 6 chickens? Technically, the way it's written, it's over the line, but typically that's the hobby farm, the other stuff like that. I think if Don's comfortable, I mean, we're comfortable, but that's the only thing that concerns me is we're gonna get a lot of calls being like, hey, they have all their cows, now they got 3 chickens. I have a hard time sending Christina out over 3 chickens. I'm sorry. I wouldn't want to do it, but.
I like this comment about the leg count.
We do
Really?
that too. We don't care how many animals you have, it's how many legs they have.
Right.
Until they start with the fish, then we're in trouble. But yeah, no, that's.
You're right, there you go.
So that's all I'm saying. When you say or, I mean, at this point, we're probably, as we move forward, we're probably gonna need help from you and the commissioners to be like, all right, how hard are we gonna enforce this? I mean, I would think the intent would be, if you have 299 cows, don't we have 29,909 turkeys, or we'll have 599 pigs? It's probably okay to have 10 pigs and 6 chickens.
But where's the cutoff?
Where's
Is
the-
what
yeah, I
you're
don't-
asking.
Well, okay, but
That's gonna be the cutoff,
that's
that's
what.
0 by ordinance, and that's fine, but seems
Right.
kind of tough, but
Well,
it's okay.
in my mindset, then that's when it becomes a discussion that you go back and you make edits to the ordinance.
We can, yes.
I mean, you know, again, these are living documents. No, you don't want to, run through this process every time there's a big, or somebody that's angry yelling at you in the office. But if it starts to be a trend, then okay, yeah, I mean, you never know. I mean, Jim could convince all the friends to get 3 pigs and 10 chickens.
No, things need to change, but I thinking back about growing up on the farm, we had 85 milk cows, we had 30 chickens, we sometimes had up to 50 or 60 hogs, you know what I'm saying? They were all taken, but again, by today's standards, the way that was written, it would be now, again, that was many years ago when my hair was dark and not gray,
That's the same.
but again,
I grew up on a farm too with cows and
Right.
horses, but I don't believe that our manure was managed the way it should have
true, okay.
been, right?
Speak-
Because it
speak into
was,
the mic.
no, I mean, it was just, I remember cows down by, in the creek, I remember, I mean, that it just wasn't a thing, and we're trying to make better choices.
Sure. Well,
Right,
the
to-
population of not only animals, but humans wasn't as high back then, as it is
It's
today,
very
so.
different.
But I just, I don't know what the future holds, none of us does, I just want to make sure that we don't. I just see, and we talked about this too, looking at at the Beacon and the landowners, there's a lot of Amish, families, communities buying land up in Steuben County just because it's a lot cheaper and it is one county over. And I really truly do see an Amish community moving in here in the next 5 to 10 years. In fact, I already know some that up in Flint that already live here already. Not to speak against them or for them, I'm just trying to make a statement, you know what I mean?
It's economics.
Like, how do we clean this up? Because it is a true.
Well, it's not the people that are doing the farms like you guys grew up with. It's what we're seeing that I saw the lead time of people that aren't farmers, these farmers are going to these random folks and just saying, throwing cattle on their property,
Right.
Yeah.
hogs on their property. They're playing the system. And
Yes,
that's the problem, right?
it is.
It's not the
That's-
families that are trying to be a family and community members.
And I can't imagine a hobby farm having 10 hogs. That's a lot of freaking hogs.
I was thinking, well, I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? Like a hobby farm is you have two.
I have two chickens.
And you had, I mean, you don't have that kind
I have two
for.
dogs, a fish, 2 cans.
Hobby fish.
It's like a real Dr. Doolittle.
Your dog's in the freezer.
If as you're proposing, it goes in and somebody did want, they had the max number of cows, hogs, whatever it is you choose, and then they want the 3 or 4 chickens, well, line's in the sand. You can't do it,
Yeah, you got it.
or you can apply for a
Yeah,
variance.
at this point, it'd be a no or a variance, you're right, 100%. And
So
that's
what,
fine.
so I guess my question is what about horses? Cause it has nothing in here about horses.
It doesn't.
See, that would be solved by the number of leg issue. But nobody would have that many horses on it.
There's some farms that have quite a bit of them. I mean, they have
Some
like
farm-
15, 20 of them. I mean, but,
I know.
I mean, I don't,
Well,
don't
just
know.
up
I
on
just-
US 20 and 600 West, there was that horse stable.
Yeah.
It's worth boarding stable.
yeah.
Well, and again, we're moving right along with this. So I mean, we can make a recommendation, but, and just, to Jim's point and even to Austin's point is that, it's, the market is driving the behavior. People want their food sources, closer to where they live. That's
Pricing.
for pricing and just, they're comfortable with it. And so that's, that's the community responds to that. And they're parsing land, they're selling land, they're buying land, whichever, and they're putting these operations in. This is the step that is, that shows them, okay, do it, but we're watching you. And I hate to sound like that, but we've got a responsibility, right? And what I think was a great point was, Paul Longbill, representing the Lakes Council, he understands.
Lakes Advisory Board.
Lakes Advisory Board, excuse me. That he does. He's like, well, yeah, this is, we got pretty far, not everywhere they want it to be, right? And I might be editorializing, he's not here, but again, this is a process and it can continue to change if it needs to.
That's a very valid point. And I like, where Austin says, stick it at 0, require variances. We get 10, 20 variances requests in 6 months, we may need to talk about it.
Right.
So, and that's kind of what we do with everything else. So why not do it with this?
Hey, Bill, do we have a comment from the gallery?
Yes, you do. From the peanut gallery is the other way to do this is you've got 299 cap or whatever, and no more than 5 or 6 other things. You could write that in, control what you're adding, and not have to run to the BZA for 3 chickens. Or 10 legs, or however you want to put it.
And I would have probably,
Put something in there that limits it pretty severely.
I would have probably exempted 4-H animals just on, because everybody does anyway. Most ordinances exempt 4-H animals by right. I would probably, you go out there, you got 299 cattle, and you got 3 chickens or 3 sheep, and like 4-H.
I would agree.
Yeah, that's pretty standard.
My reluctancy is to start, accepting edits now. Do we want to do that or do we make those edits and then still pass it here tonight and pass it to the commissioners?
It's up to you. You can do it however you want. Pass it as is and see if the edits are needed, and make the edits, and then it's up to you.
Well, and again, Bill makes a good point. You could, his explanation can be put right into the definition. It doesn't go into the table, right?
I'm gonna have that stricken from the record that you made a good point.
Like, make a mark on the wall.
No, but you're right, because that would
Might help.
well, or is that a footnote saying, if this, then this type of thing?
I wouldn't want it as a footnote. I would want it directly in there.
Yeah.
I want it to be full teeth if that's where you want to go.
You can do it with a sentence, I think. I think it's pretty
Or just
straightforward.
add it after 3, you could make a comment, or even just change the order and just put like, this excludes such and such number of extra animals or hobby farm or 4-H, whatever, recreational.
Okay, and I like how you're saying that, is that you can do like, an example, i.e., you know, and then you can mention 4-H specifically, but it doesn't lock you in. What if they change the name of 4-H?
Yeah, true.
You know.
You're not.
Yeah.
They might
now.
Like that Gene's Nandy.
There's like, what's 4-H? We don't know what that is. So anyway, again, I don't, that's not a bad recommendation.
If you want to go through it tonight, you can. If you want us to tweak it, send it back out to you so you can see it. I'm sorry, I don't want to put you on, are the commissioners in a hurry for this? Or is it something where they want us to take our time and get it right?
I'd say the second. That could
Okay.
take 4 hours.
And that's usually what they want, but you never know, something big's coming in and you wanna, so I would say we're probably cool if we take them on, but that's up to you. I know how important this is to you, so you can
Just
do it
have
either way.
them tweak it and get it back to us so we can do it in the December meeting.
Okay, so we have to have a December meeting then, okay, regardless.
Well, I won't be here.
Sorry.
We've been talking about this since I went this board, this ordinance.
That's
I know,
normal.
I just didn't, I thought we were gonna get it done tonight.
You still can.
Well,
Christina, I remember the first time Judd came up and Charlie and I were giving each other high fives. We got something done in 6 months. It should have taken 2 minutes. He looked at us like we had lobsters crawling out of our ears. Because it was that quick.
We passed ordinances before, I mean, over the last 30 years, and they've had to be tweaked. And I think on this one, I think your goal is these large cattle operations. That's the goal. I mean, if they have a couple chickens out there, I can't imagine anybody complaining, but,
famous last words.
Yeah.
but,
It's the same amount of work between chickens.
I just don't think, I don't think those are compatible, those large operations are compatible with having 6 hogs and 2 chickens. I just don't see it. Have you seen it? I haven't seen
What
it.
I'm seeing is like, I think it was Austin that said it, they're going to these people that aren't part of their group, just saying, can I put these cows on your property? Well, if they've got the 10 acres and they're already out in the country, they probably already have this 3 hogs and 6 chicken kind of.
Or
operation.
something.
Something, they've got
Yes.
something.
Yes.
And then they'll just add those cows to it. So that's my concern. I mean, I don't have a dog in the fight either way.
So
I'm just I was playing devil's advocate.
because of that point, my opinion is against adding the additional language. I think it should be, there's your limit. I mean,
Stop.
we know who the problem is,
Mhm.
where it is. This is combating that.
And until
In my
we pass it, there isn't the teeth, because
Correct.
it doesn't exist.
Correct.
So we need to get it done.
And any sort of structure that comes in, with in between those numbers, the 100 to 299, they will be legally non-conforming if they pass, or they approve basically before this ordinance, because they don't have to meet these requirements. They know this. So the sooner we would get something like this, I mean, we've seen a couple cattle barns, not like
2 last
50,
month.
but like 2 in the last month, so.
And then Paul and their group, that's what they, you know, that's why they wanted to see where we were
It's
with this,
just
because
Paul.
they.
Paul is only one for the Lakes Advisory. He's all by himself.
Has been for years, yeah.
Yeah, since you left.
I mean, it sounds like, you know, maybe it sounds like he was kind of
No.
from the group.
Well, he's letting the Lakes Council know what is being done.
So tell me how the Lakes Council feels.
I have to walk down to the room, so
Oh, so
I
they
can't.
don't even let you listen.
no, I walk out of the room to try to stay impartial, and
Okay.
should anything come before the BZA or anything, so
We have a
Anything.
I don't wanna.
Whatever the line.
Let's just pass this.
Okay, so change it to or, where it says and or, 10,000 to 29,999, change that to or. So cross out that and,
Can I make a recommendation first on how we do that? So let's make a motion to approve with edit, a second, and
Okay.
then we can discuss. So can we entertain a motion?
so I'll make the motion to make an edit to
No,
the,
first approve this and pass it to the commissioners. We have to
well,
change.
we have to make,
You guys agree?
I don't know how to do that.
I think so.
That's where we get it.
Okay,
If the
so-
ordinance you have in front of, and then their discussion, and then you can make your amendment.
amendment, okay, so I make the motion to approve the amendment A-25-01 with the amendment? Or
make
no,
you-
just that you pass it off to the commissioners?
Approve that, or motion to approve this.
Okay.
There's a second.
We amend
Hopefully,
it.
and then there's discussion.
Okay, there you go.
And then if you wish to amend it,
That comes out of discussion.
There you
We vote on the amendment before we.
Okay, I made the motion.
Okay, so it's been moved. Is there a second on the motion to send for approval, recommend approval?
Yeah, I will second it, Jim Slaybaugh.
Okay. So there's a motion, a second, discussion on the motion. Now you can make an amendment.
Okay, in the section 2402 for the definitions, on the third line, the very first and or cross out and leave it as or 10,000 is the only change that I have.
So it's been amended. Is there a second to the amendment?
I second the amendment.
Okay, so there's a motion to amend and a second. Any discussion on the amendment? If not, those in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Amendment passes.
Also, you want to point, I want to point out,
Sorry.
nobody said anything on the 4C, that section that was before this, that they wanted to add that building planning department.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
No, you're fine.
Well, I was gonna take it as is, as written.
as written.
Yeah,
Okay, so you want as it's written right now?
Yeah.
Perfect.
yeah.
Sorry.
But again, okay, so now we're back to the discussion of the whole, of the entire ordinance update. Does anybody have any questions about this specifically? Because you're right, that's a yellow section that, you know, we've been asked by the commissioners to edit.
It has as written, other than the previous.
Yeah, your amendment passed, so that's in there, so that's gonna go now. So now, any other discussion on the formal recommendation to the commissioner's office? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, so as written, this will go to the commissioner's office with the amendment approved. Wow. You got your wish. Awesome. Big deal.
May I make a comment?
Okay, so now we're done with that. So now we can go into announcements. Go ahead.
No, I think we're good. I'll make a comment on a private note on this. No, we're good.
Okay.
It's already passed, so we're done.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other announcements? So I just have a couple, but, big things happen in Steuben County with, the Angola marching band, 3 months football team, or even Angola's football team too,
Still,
so,
yeah, both of them.
from a sectional standpoint. So that's pretty cool. So just from this, on my behalf of the board, I just say congratulations and good luck to everybody there. Any other announcements? Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm surprised you haven't asked about the hearing this afternoon.
Oh, yes.
an oral argument this afternoon on the third basin.
I didn't even know that.
And Aaron here to give me the update, so I didn't even think about
Okay,
it.
so you guys didn't know. We can include that in the announcement. So how'd it go?
Well, we don't have a decision, of course. We've got 45 days to submit my proposed findings. About as expected. They were much more verbose, the other council than I was, because well, the judges read the briefs. I mean, all they did was say the same thing their brief said. So, I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, maybe the judge asked a couple of questions. I thought he obviously has read the briefs. He knew what was going on. He had read the cases, he had a good feel for it. And you don't always get that. But Judge Musser was ready. And hopefully we'll get a decision in this year.
Wow, okay, good. No, that's a great announcement.
I would be surprised if you get an answer before the end of the
Yeah,
year.
and once
It's 45 days and then it's.
Technically, it's 90 days after the submission of the findings to make a decision.
And
We got a lot of holidays in there and time. So
It would just be tight.
and not that you're a prognosticator. Is there a feeling either way?
well, it is of interest to me, as I mentioned at the hearing, that they've agreed, or they said they would file for the special exception And they didn't. And that was back in July or. Yeah, July. It seemed like we could have had a decision from the BZA by now if they'd have filed their petition, but they didn't. They have the right to do what they did, but I just, it doesn't smell good to me. My guess is, and I'm not, and I don't, and they never, I'm not predicting what they're gonna do. I guess I am predicting what they're gonna do. But it would not surprise me that they would take the position, if they prevail on this motion, that they're not required to seek a special exceptions. I may be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But
And the people in opposition, I mean, especially online, that was their same concern.
These are the people trying to stop it from happening, right? That
Yes.
challenged us for passing when we passed, when we had the big meeting.
But no, their problem is with the docks and the funneling part of it.
the issue is whether that you can, the whole sole issue is whether the board, plan commission has the right to place a condition of obtaining a special exception on their primary approval. You gave them primary approval of their subdivision and you attached a condition. And whether that condition is an appropriate condition on, given the subdivision control ordinance and the state of law in Indiana. Fortunately, in my opinion, and I mentioned it today, there's a case out of Fulton County that's similar. And the trial court said, no, they complied with the subdivision control ordinance. You can't do that. The Court of Appeals said they complied with the subdivision control ordinance. You can't make them do that. And the Indiana Supreme Court says, you're both wrong. And they said that you look at both, not only the zoning ordinance, the subdivision control ordinance, but you look at the zoning ordinance and even other laws. You can place conditions of ordinance. I hope that's where the judge is going to go, but you never know, and it's not anybody's 100% right here. So.
I mean, did they ever go back into the detail about it being the common area is really, the only point that's in contention, right?
Correct, and there was discussion, Bob Ehrman brought that up, that the common area is a recreational area, and that is something that you can regulate with additional covenants.
Oh, yeah.
He brought that up. Their position is the statute doesn't say that.
Right.
And it lists like 7 things that you can put conditions on. But the Supreme Court seemed to say in the Fulton County case, yeah, but if your ordinance says that you can consider other things, you can consider other things. So our ordinance is very expansive when it comes to.
No, I mean, that's the other thing being considered, right?
Well, that's what the Board of Zoning Appeals will decide, whether this is meets the, whether this,
Antithetical type.
yeah. But,
Other things.
so we'll see if the judge rules against the county and they deny if it's not a condition of primary approval, then a secondary approval would be administrative, and then, but they can't do anything. They can record their plat, but they can't do anything because they're not gonna get building permits from Clint.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Didn't I also ask for this to come back in front of the board? So it wasn't, I don't think this is gonna secondary, will be
It
administrative.
wouldn't be, I'd say, I don't mean administrative.
Oh, I got you.
Primary approval, there's no conditions, so they're gonna get secondary approval. So you get to see more detail on the plat, and that may be a hang up or not. But then I question whether they'd be able to get building permits because they haven't got and that's where potentially the next litigation could be.
Right. Building just.
Yeah, one thing to keep in mind, this has nothing to do with the docks themselves. Because the docks are controlled by the state of Indiana. So the county has nothing to say about the placement of the docks. But the zoning ordinance addresses the land side where you've got more than 8 boats at a single slip. Just counting noses, but it's not about the docks because that's for the state of Indiana. It's all about land usage.
Yeah,
And that's what their engineers said, we put these in thinking this is, but it all may change.
Yeah, but the-
They said that here.
Down at the door.
Okay. So again, great announcement. Thanks. Great update. Any other announcements? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved and seconded to adjourn. Any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Those opposed? We're done. Next meeting, December 3rd.
5:54, Kara.
I agree with what you said as far as it's just something in there for we have to my mind.
Good job.
My mind went happy with that.
You had a good day, didn't you?
Thanks.
55 mile an hour.
I love those days where you feel like you really accomplished something. The government sometimes you get bogged down. Yeah, it feels good.